Oh, I guess this might be in the way. We'll find out as I attempt to, find my... Wait, where's my copy of the... Oh, there it is. There's the copy of the full thing. It is not in the way. Nice. Excellent. You. Hot air, please. Please for hot air. Eventually, there will be hot air. And I just need to... You know what? It's going to be better if I hook you up there. Because that'll provide hot air everywhere. And, of course, I would be completely remiss... Oh, I already have. To not have the thingies. It would behoove me to do the thingies. It would also behoove me to do the Mark IV of everything. Of the everything. Like, that can be the Mark IV to, instead of having 1 equal 3, to have 1 equal 5. Because that's the difference between 4 module slots and 8 module slots with the level 5 God modules. It goes from plus 200% productivity to plus 400% productivity. So instead of 1 item equaling 3, 1 item will equal 5. It is wonderful and magnificent. Not doubling the output. Not actually doubling the output. It's not a... It is doubling the productivity bonus, but it does not actually technically double the output. Because you get the 1 item that you normally get anyway. This is just an in addition type of thing. So what do I want now? We're only, quote unquote, at 10k there. We could just get more ability to reach things. This is not the same as being able to mine or place objects. So, I really wish the long reach research upgrade mod actually had infinite mine and build as well as reach. I can probably just add that in myself. Also, I just have to laugh at the character crafting speed bonus 1 being infinite. Being absolutely infinite, but I guess technically Flying Fortress is not an infinite tech, so I should pick it up, because it's not actually an infinite tech. Is this going to bring in the hot air, or is there an issue? Can it get out? It should be able to get out, and it should be able to get in. So, hello. Hot air station. How are you doing? All 5. All 5 are busy. Are very, very busy. I might... Yeah, so there might be an issue with one of the stations with not having... Ah, it's coming here. Good. There may be an issue with one of the stations not having the doohickeys, the wires on the thingies. The wires on the tanks. That might be the one at the mall? That is the one at the mall. So it's constantly requesting the trains to go to the mall, which is why I'm seeing full tanked trains returning to the stations. So I have to fix that real quick before moving on. We still have one more area that needs hot air, technically 2, but they'll be serviced by a single station. But we are about 4 minutes away from the regularly scheduled break, so I'm not going to be able, I think, to fully complete that station before the break, but we'll come close. Yeah, I need this to be wired, thanks. Yeah, that needs some wired so I don't get stuff here, and I'm pretty sure that might have been the only one. I think all the others got stuffs. Maybe this one didn't. This one is the ash. Okay, let's, yeah, I don't think the ash got Yeah, the ash didn't either. All right. Good to know. That's why all these trains are constantly moving. Is they're trying to they keep going back to the mall and to the ash stations, since the circuit that's supposed to limit them doesn't have the actual input at all. It's like, oh, I'm empty, I'm empty, I'm empty. You're not actually empty. So let's get those wires set up properly. Now it should stop requesting them, which will fix itself rather quickly. Also, this isn't actually producing anything. Why? Oh. Hello. So some raw speed modules somehow made their way onto these. And it blocked the thing from moving. So it's a good thing I came out here. It's a good thing I came back out here to put the thingy back on. The train are still going to go constantly to those locations. Oh, right, this is very similar location to where I was just now. I could probably just use that, but I need a lot of hot air to make the ash, so meh. Alright, I need you to be there. Right. Oh, yeah, right there. But I think we might be a little bit off. Because of that turn. Yeah. Yeah, so I have to redo that a little bit lower. Oh, but that's my alarm to say that it's the halfway point and time to take a brief few minute break. I will, of course, be taking that break and will be back shortly. See you soon. And I have returned. Welcome back. So, I was just seeing on the community Discord some talk about the hot air reheating stuff, which I will reiterate again my thoughts about the hot air reheating, because 2080 was not around at that point, but appears to be here at the moment. So my thoughts about the reheating is that I don't think it's very good, because the combustion mixture is consumed to reheat your outlet gas, and in my opinion, it is more difficult to obtain the combustion mixture at 1000 C for the full chain for reheating than it is to actually just simply make more outlet gas for, and then either void or convert to flue gas or whatever the lowest temperature of outlet gas for. So that's my thought on that particular situation. This is actually going to be a little bit weird as well, because I have to do something about this. I know this will break this temporarily, but once I place that down, I have to. You know what? Screw it. We're not turning. We're not turning. We're not even. We're not even gonna turn. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go straight. We're gonna place this thing here, and then we're going to escape. As I sneeze. Let's see. I can clip that down, then bring this down, and one more tile. There we go. That's better. Now, my proposed potential solution to this, of course, would be return cooler combustion mixture. That I think would be a good option. We could return cooler combustion mixture. You'd still have to make the 1000C mixture. You'd still lose some potential power from that situation, but it's not going to be as bad as completely losing all of those units of combustion mixture. That's a method to take the edge off there. Is it still going to be too expensive? Maybe. And it still only returns 95 units instead of a full 100 units of your outlet gas that's been reheated, rather than the full 100 units that it's processing. So you still have to make more anyway. So there goes potentially the whole point of having a setup that you can set somewhere, provide enough stuff for it to move, and then leave it, right? So it gets rid of the concept of being able to just leave a thing alone, like this, but bigger, on location. There is no more ability to do hot air on location ever. Like, it just doesn't exist. You can't do it. Because you're going to need a consistent, fresh supply of outlet gas for no matter what you do. Even if you are reheating it. And it's at this point that I will say that I have actually written a text mini guide for the units of for the hot air overhaul. That will be posted on my website this afternoon. So you can go to my website, and I'll have a thingy later on today, like 6 hours from now, something like that. 100 outlet gas is more expensive than 100 combustion mix. It's not that it's 100 combustion mix, it's 100 combustion mix at 1000C, which there's only one option to get. So no, I disagree that that's worth it. And don't give me anything involving YAFC saying otherwise, because it doesn't handle temperature well on combustion mixture. It does not handle combustion mixture all that well. At least I don't trust its ability to determine anything involving combustion mixture at all, or anything involving temperature-based things at this point in time. So no, in my mind, 1000C combustion mixture on this full setup is not going to be worth it. It might be worth reheating it if you're not going all the way up to hot stone bricks. There may be points of the game where it's actually somewhat useful to do the hot air, the reheating of the gases. But just no, not especially not in my situation here, where I am actually able to use the productivity on all of the side inputs that are involved in actually making the outlet gas, like the organic solvent and such that gets used in here. And it all really depends on what the sources are that you're using to do these things, because that makes a big difference as well. Like, how are you getting the light oil, or / how are you getting the tall oil? How are you getting the stuff, all the stuffs? So this is tall oil, organic solvent, acid gas, as well as nickel plates and copper plates / copper wires to make outlet gas for, ultimately. You're also getting a lot of aromatics out of this. Like, we also have to think you're also getting aromatics out of this. A whole lot of aromatics out of this by going up through outlet gas 4. You are getting a whole bunch of sulfur, more than you will ever need of sulfur. So it's like, okay, there's that too that you have to consider. And just, just the making of the coke oven gas to begin with. Like, you're always gonna have coke oven gas if you're using this process to even remotely make your coke. If you're doing this process to make coke, you're going to have a consistent supply of coke oven gas regardless. So why bother reheating coke oven gas if you're going to have a consistent supply to feed your coke production anyway? Like, if you're not even doing the outlet gas 4 yet, if you're doing only up to warmer stone bricks rather than hot, if you're only going up to here, both of these steps offer using coke oven gas rather than outlet gas 4, which you're going to have a consistent supply of if you're using it to make coke, if you're using this process to make coke, right? There's always going to be a consistent supply that you can count on based off of your continuous consumption of coke in the production of science and all of that. But regardless, this is free anyway. Coal into coke is not expensive. It's not a bad particular process. Of course, I am ignoring the fact that yes, now you don't have access to normal coal patches. It's raw coal patches, but like 1-2 steps gets you coal from this, and there's other ways of getting coal out of other stuffs. So yeah, I in my mind, I don't see that being a thing as an issue. Now, 1000C combustion mixture I see as an issue because it's something that you otherwise don't have to create. It's otherwise a thing that just doesn't necessarily need to exist in your base in this form. There's only one recipe for it, involving refined syngas and petroleum gas, so we can get that point made that these are not that great, especially the refined syngas, in order to even make it in the first place. Not the best thing, and you need coal briquettes, which can vary in terms of how you make it as well. So it's like, oh, let's add this other set of complexity, this whole new set of complexity of things just to save a few units of gas. We are literally comparing scale to complexity when honestly the scale is easier at that point. Scale will always be easier than adding complexity to perform in the setup. So I will never consider ever doing reheating of these cooler gases in this process. Never. Not unless things significantly change. But anyway, we now have the hot air everywhere I need it, as far as I am aware. I think I have done the thing to add hot air everywhere at this point that is requiring it. There's probably, in fact, there's most likely additional locations that do still need hot air, but I'll figure that out when it becomes a problem at some point. When it becomes an issue, if it ever becomes an issue, that'll be a thing that I take care of. Pretty sure I've gotten all of my bases covered at this point. I think I have done so. Oh yeah, this is broken and needs pesticides, doesn't it? I think. Yeah. My Relesia need pesticides. I need to have a look at the Relesia You are absolutely making methanol, as well as you are absolutely producing the plastic that I so desperately desire. Oh, there. Hey, there's one. There's one that I missed. Right there, zinc. Duh. I missed zinc. How can I forget about zinc? Zinc is very important. Should Ave go with alien life or not? Well, see, at this point, I think that it's either you're experiencing the complete experience or you're not. So, you can either say that you have the full experience or you don't have the full experience. So I'll leave that to your discretion. It's like, are you okay with having an incomplete experience with the Pie Suite now that alien life exists and is a thing? So alien life it is. Yep, that's the thing. That's the logic. That's the logic, and this is why, by the way, DLC is awful. The concept of DLC, and why I actually very much despise the practices of Paradox Studios and how they do things. Because sure, these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pieces of DLC for a game are not required, but if you don't have them, you don't have a complete experience. And in order to actually get them, you have to pay, hundreds of dollars if the game's been out for more than a couple of years, right? And of course, they don't have season passes for their first party games. Oh no, of course they wouldn't have season passes for their first party titles. Why would they? I will say though that there was some sort of an experiment that they were doing. I don't know if they're still doing it with Paradox, where you could subscribe, pay monthly, to get access to all of the DLC for stuff. Like, excuse me? But no, you're not that good. You're not that good. Now, how about I pay you $50 for a season pass that gives me permanent access to every DLC you ever make for this game? And then, if that no longer is commercially viable to you, how about you actually make a new game? Right? Oh god, it's the concept of actually giving us something new in a reasonable amount of time after the previous iteration. Like, we should be on Europa Universalis 6 by now, right? 6 or 7. Yet they keep producing DLC for 4. They just released another expansion to 4 that they're charging $20 for. Like, how about no? And then any inclination that I have to ever go back to Europa Universalis 4 is always drastically hindered by the fact that I don't have all the expansions for it, nor am I willing to pay for all the expansions for it. That's the stuff here, by the way, taken care of. That's the hot air for that. So it's like, no, I just can't. I just can't anymore with a lot of it. Like, even on sale, it's like there's no sale good enough to get everything that you're missing. I will say I have the vast majority of the game-altering DLC of Stellaris. I have the vast majority of that. I don't think I have Federations, though. The most recent one for that. And I really am hesitant to go out back and play Stellaris because I don't have Federations. I always feel bad anytime I actually do purchase any expansion content for that sort of stuff. Now, that's their first party titles. How about the stuff that they publish? Well, as it turns out, some of the stuff they publish is okay. There is a expansion pass for Surviving Mars that is of significant value, because you do get all of the DLC with the expansion pass. It's a little weird on Steam though, because it's no longer an expansion pass, but it is a first Colony Edition bundle, and it's the bundle that gives you all the DLC in it. And actually, right now it's it's a little over $20, I think, to get all the DLC if you own the base game. But I think otherwise the pass is it's $35. But on Epic it's still 35 at the moment, pretty sure. So yeah, it's at least with Surviving Mars, it's decent. I still am not able to afford that because, current state of the world, I can no longer really afford to purchase games, period. Or any expansion content or any of that. I have to live with experiencing more hours of Factorio for the moment. Maybe get through some of the backlog that's 10 miles long. Anyway, it is time to get into the molten glass stuff. How does that sound? I think it's time for molten glass. Yeah, it is. It is that time for the molten glass stuff. So, I don't. So glass from molten is in a casting unit now. Is that how that works? How does one make glass from molten? It's still in the glassworks. Okay, so I need more glassworks, and of course there is a hot air casting of glass. That's interesting. So I see why now some of these decisions were made on using molten for glass stuff. But so here's the problem with this not being molten, right? So here's the problem with this not being molten. That's been pointed out, specifically with glassware. This needs to be molten. Why? Because you can hot air the glass, and then you can hot air the glassware. So you're double dipping on hot air bonuses. Because of that, you get a bonus to the glass production from hot air, and then you get a bonus to the glassware output from the hot air. Yeah, that's a little powerful. That's a bit powerful. However, a lot of stuff. Yes, I see no problem here. I see no problem here. There is no problem whatsoever. But the other interesting consequence of this molten change is that there's actually going to be less dependency upon glass as glass. There's going to be more dependency upon glass as molten glass. So... Oh god. Fuel rods. Hi. I'm at the purified quartz step, which... Why would you do this? Oh, the casting, it doesn't have anything else, I think. I need glass works buildings as well. I went and I came out here and I didn't bring any glassworks buildings with me. That's great. I can increase the mark levels of these buildings as well. Which gets me to the point of I'm also not doing any productivity stuff on the intermediates of pyro processing chains, pyro ores processing chains, including all the glass stuff. So the only time I'm using productivity actually in the glass stuff right now is going to be the final output of stuff, right? So it's going to be as molten and as the casted stuff. So molten and the casted glass, I'll productivity those, but I'm not going to productivity any of the steps along the way because those are stuff. Did I add infinite technologies? Like a mod? No. No, I have not. What I have is like the normal stuff. This is default. This is default stuff. I haven't given much thought to end game type stuffs. Oh right, I'm requesting Mark III pressure pumps. Do I have Mark IVs? I should have Mark IVs. Oops, that is not the thing I wanted to do. That is the thing I wanted to do. I should have Mark IV pressure pumps, I think. I think I should have Mark IVs. Yes, I should absolutely have Mark IVs of those. What tech is the icon with Bob's modules in my research window? What, where? Oh, this? This is crafting speed upgrade. This is the crafting speed research mod. Crafting speed research. This increases the speed of handcrafting, which I would say would be something that is necessary for a C-block playthrough. Because this actually would speed up your ability to, make cellulose from handcrafting. Yeah. Not like by the time you get it, you actually need it anymore, but hey, sure. Like not like you'll need it by the time you get it. By the way, I had been playing a C block playthrough, but I'm not like I don't actually think I'm going to continue it. I got green science. I got green science automated, but I don't think I want to continue. And the reason is that it feels too different from a Bob's Angels experience with the C-Block pack stuff changes. The science changes and the circuit changes. It feels too much like its own separate thing and not Bob's Angels anymore. So I'm going to probably restart. That is not the Mark IV of you, Zippo Pool. That is not a Mark IV Zippo. That's a Mark IV Zippo. Why am I doing all those Mark IVs? I don't know. I don't know. What I really need is you at Mark IV. That's the one. The Glassworks building. Make sure we have somewhat reasonable amounts of things. Oh, I don't have Super Steel anymore. Right. That's a thing. That's a thing. Let's take care of the Super Steel issue. Because we have a Super Steel issue. How do I make Mark II fuel rods again? What building is it? Just a standard assembling machine. Okay. Standard old little assembling machine. Beaconed out the wazoo. For some wonderful, beautiful fuel rods. What in the world is the fuel rod under? There it is. There's the Mark II. Yeah, it just feels way too different with the C-Block pack. And apparently C-Block pack is like ancient, which might explain things a bit. I was just saying like the description on C-Block pack hadn't been updated since like 2015 or something like that. So yeah, it's a little out of date maybe. This is going to be mol 20% powder. And it is going to request the 20% uranium powder, which is right here. There we go. That should already be defined, and the train is on its way. That'll be the Mark II fuel rods. I just have to go to where I'm making my super steel, wherever that is, right up here. Because the basic recipe for making the molten super steel now requires Mark II fuel rods. Slightly unfortunate that. That's actually under this same thingy. Where are you? There you are. Mark II fuel rods. All of them. That will be a thing. Also, why are you not a Mark IV? Because productivity is required. Absolutely required. You have some hot air, but you're not actually connected to the hot air system at this moment in time. Oh, I need to power that. So I need to find hot air. I think it might be easier just to go down, then over. And yes, I'll reiterate that the... Oh, that's not gonna... That is not gonna reach. What was I going to reiterate? I don't even... It just left my mind. I'll reiterate that the productivity stuff, that's the thing. That's the thing. It was with the productivity stuff. By default, the hot air recipes will not, like, do productivity, right? As one might expect. Even on recipes that otherwise take productivity without the hot air, which is a little bit annoying, specifically for niobium and for molybdenum, because under normal circumstances, they absolutely accept productivity, but not so with their hot air variants. So if you are able to have more than 25% productivity added to the final casting of the niobium and molybdenum plates, then it is actually better to not do the hot air casting under normal circumstances. Of course, if you're like me and have added the productivity onto the hot air stuff by allowing productivity to be used on anything, then yeah, sure. The hot air is going to absolutely be mental bonkers for the hot air recipes. It will be perfectly fine. I now have a little bit of super steel. It is in fact producing so much super steel that even an ultra fast inserter with a rotation speed of 432,000 degrees per second can't keep up.